So the first one we're going to do is somebody who's overwhelmed, somebody who's looked at their data and seeing a lot of things that they could do with their direct reports. Okay, so here we are in. Here are your results for your direct reports.
Yeah, there's just so much, Ben. I'm feeling a bit lost as to know where to start. I mean, it would seem to me as if I could pretty much kind of get a pin and stick it anywhere in this report, and there'd be an opportunity for me to action plan.
Yeah.
I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Okay. Well, you know, what I recommend is perhaps just zeroing in on one or two that you think and the data suggests are really important. Okay. So if you were to do three things, what three things might you actually do? You know, and maybe there's levels of importance to help you choose those three things.
So zooming in on things that my team have indicated are most important to me, well, clearly my ability to think big picture and look at issues from multiple perspectives.
Okay.
High importance, very low demonstration, or lower than most things. One of my biggest gaps. So that would seem to me to be one that stands out immediately.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's pause there and think about actions that we could take to address that particular item. So considers issues from multiple perspectives. Is that the one you're looking at?
That's right, under emotional reasoning, which was a low-scoring item for me consistently.
Yeah, okay. So what are the things you think that people do when they do that well?
Well, they're probably are skillful at stepping back, looking around, touching base with others, trying to get a multitude of different views on a problem.
Yeah.
I find that difficult when you're under the pump and time's short. It seems to me a luxury sometimes to be able to go and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think intuitively I know the need for it.
Well, what's this report saying? What's the level of importance on that particular item?
Yeah. Well, it's given the highest level of importance of everything from
5 out of 5
competency.
Yeah. So do you feel like it is an important thing, perhaps?
Well, it's reinforced how important it is. I think I probably knew, but I probably wasn't acting on it because there were so many other things I'm also trying to do at the same time.
Yeah. There's even models and concepts and books on this particular one and how to develop it within oneself. Yeah. You ever thought of or heard of Edward de Bono's 6 Thinking Hats, for example?
Yeah, I remember looking at that some years back and thought it was very, very powerful, where you take a perspective and spend some time there.
Yeah, I think personality and values and belief also shape the perspective that we have around events. So getting insight into the different types of personalities and views they have and so on could be useful. Indeed, if we turn to the Development Tips workbook and have a look at that particular item, emotional reasoning considers issues from multiple perspectives. Values, beliefs and personality preference shape our perspective of events. Get to know different personality and thinking preferences and use this knowledge to consider situations from these different viewpoints. This website will be helpful. So there's a web link there that takes you to different things around personality. Identify various stakeholders to the issue. Put yourself in their shoes. Where would you consult them for their perspective? Look at problems or issues from different viewpoints, like those categorised in Edward de Bono's 6 Thinking Hats. So there's the web links and resources to some of the things there that we're talking about.
And I can see a link here too with my lower scores and awareness of others, because it would seem to me I'm probably not asking others enough and getting their views on things.
Consulting people about their views, asking them what they're thinking and feeling around things.
I've really stopped doing that just because of the speed at which we're having to work.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Particularly when you can see the right answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the right answer as we see it might not be the right answer, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do you think there's room for another one? Or does that feel like about as much as you could do?
Well, I've definitely got... Have we got time for another one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, well, let's...
The second tricky debrief that we're going to do is one where there's a bit of denial, a bit of shock, a bit of kind of almost dismissal, I think, of the results, if you like. So somebody who's confused by the results, they've never got feedback like this before. Okay, and so we've looked at a high level. Let's have a look at a detailed level now. Here are the results across the 6 skills from your direct reports. Okay, what sort of things, insights, things start coming to mind here?
Yeah, this wasn't what I was expecting.
Right.
I'm really quite mystified as to how my leadership and the strength of those relationships I've got with what I think is a really loyal team could have generated so many gaps. I'm really quite surprised. Baffled, to be honest. I just don't know. That was not what I was expecting.
Okay,
In
so you
fact, if
haven't got
anything,
feedback like this before?
I don't think I've ever had feedback that would suggest anything other than I'm doing a good job. Certainly Jane is very clear about, how I'm achieving my goals, my KPIs to get pushed out every year because I'm one of the high performers.
Yeah.
The team, they engage with me freely. We have a beer on Friday. There's never any issues raised. Yeah.
Well, look, this experience is not uncommon.
Really?
Yeah, there's not a strong relationship between how we see ourselves and how others view us. This is designed to give us insight into those blind spots that we all have. So it's a fairly typical kind of thing to experience around results like this.
Are you saying you've come across this before, where the results don't seem to relate to how well someone is performing?
I think we all have blind spots, and that's why we can always get surprises sometimes when we look at 360-degree results. These are the sorts of things that are not always discussed either. Would you agree?
I think our culture is one where we kind of very much focus on what we need to get done, and we work around any deficiencies there are across competency in terms of technical skill and both behaviours.
Yeah.
So that doesn't surprise me in that sense, but I'm still shocked at the fact that I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't expecting so much opportunity or so many gaps, more around probably the results reflecting how well I feel I'm doing in my job.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what feels like a really important thing to do? If that's the context and that's the way we're feeling,
That's a good question.
What feels really important to do?
I think it would be important for me to not dismiss too quickly, which is my gut feel.
Yeah.
As someone who's very task focused, I'm looking at the data saying, well, okay, it's giving me an indication that I'm behaving in a way that isn't as good as it could be.
Yeah.
But I'm also not getting a sense of, well, why should I change
Okay.
if I'm achieving my goals?
Yeah.
So I think I've got to be careful not to do that, even before I get into any detail.
Yeah. Okay. Well, because this, of course, is not on the what you're achieving; it's on the how you're achieving it, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't so clear about that until you just made that point. So
Okay.
this is more about the way I'm making people feel,
The way you're going about things.
the way I'm going.
Yeah. And so you're achieving these great results today.
Yeah.
To help you, I suppose, answer that question of should I do anything about it, something that could be important to consider and reflect on is, what if these were different? What if this was a sea of green rather than a sea of red?
Yeah.
Could the results be even bigger than what they are or not? What's your sense of things?
Yeah. For sure. And I think if I take a step back from the results, there's things in here that have to be beneficial.
Yeah.
It's about acknowledging that there are opportunities, I think, for me to change the way I'm leading.
Yeah.
And hopefully that can lead us to even greater year-on-year outcomes.
Yeah. Okay. So in that context, if you were to pick out a couple of key things that you think you could do, what would they be? So this next one and final one that Ian's going to do is somebody who's very defensive, somebody who's going to really justify their results, if you like, and it's going to be very difficult to engage around an action plan. Okay? All right. So here you have in your results at an item level, okay, in big detail. Yeah. So what I'd like to ask you to do is just have a bit of a read of this and pick up, if you like, a couple of things that feel really important to perhaps take some action on.
Is there value in that, do you think? I'm just looking at this and questioning really whether this is a good use of my time right now, in the light of how well the team has been performing over the last 2 or 3 quarters and the feedback that I'm getting generally. I acknowledge the reports showing me that there are some opportunities, but I'm getting on well with the team. We're working in a tough environment. I don't think these results really reflect how tough our business is. And indeed, talking to my colleagues who've had debriefs with you, and they've said similar, the results don't really seem to fully reflect how tough it is in this sales industry. So would that be a good use of our time, I wonder?
Well,
maybe a bit more of a rounding off? Because I'm pretty sure I know where they're coming from.
Okay. Well, this report certainly wasn't ever designed to capture how tough it is. What's it meant to capture how well you're demonstrating emotionally intelligent workplace behaviour and how important it is to do so. I guess what I'd come back to is purpose. You know, why are we doing this? What's the organisation paid for?
Well, I have a sense that it's about trying to build us as sales leaders,
Yeah.
but that message has not been overly well communicated. And
Yeah.
I think has been lost somewhere along the way in terms of how the boss sees this. In fact, I don't see the boss role modelling a lot of these behaviours himself,
Yeah. Yeah.
which leads me to think that even if I was to put an action plan in place, it probably wouldn't be well supported.
Well, I think in acknowledgement of that, the boss is taking us all on this journey, if you like. At least in the intro session, you know, committed
Yeah.
himself personally to developing his own, almost did a recognition of what you were saying. He said,
Yeah, I do
you know,
remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, I guess if you think about that purpose and the investment the organisation's making, what's its expectation? That you take some action on the basis of these results. So,
If I were to be honest with you, people probably won't expect me to take a lot of stock in this.
right.
That will
okay.
be what people will expect,
Yeah.
knowing me as they do, because I have been successful, and I think that really stacks up in itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
There could be an opportunity though to respond differently. I guess is that what you're saying? So, yeah, that's it.
Look, it's really up to you at the end of the day. The only thing I can bring to you, I guess, is the research
Yeah,
and the particular validation that's been done here at this point in time with your particular people. In this report, your manager, your peers and your direct reports are all saying it's really important that you demonstrate emotionally intelligent workplace behaviour.
but what's interesting is I know if this had been taken 6 months ago, it would have undoubtedly looked very different. In fact, I think you probably would have struggled to see many gaps in the report.
Yeah,
That was
but we're not
pretty-
living 6 months ago, are we? We're living now for today and tomorrow, right?
Yeah, okay. And the world has shifted a lot in that 6 months.
Has it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Like at face value, I'd say what this is suggesting is here today and tomorrow, this is what's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in your case, there's some gaps around that and what you're currently doing.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that your results aren't great. They are. Could the results be greater?
Yeah. No, it's a well-made point. Let's revisit.
Okay.
Yeah, let's have a look.
All right.
Yeah.